Welcome back to another episode of How Did They Grow? I created this podcast because I wanted you to learn how other coaches, freelancers, service providers, and course sellers are growing their business, landing 10 to 20 new clients every single month, paying them 50, 100, 200K months. See, if they've done it, you can too. And that's just the reality. And I want you to listen to these podcasts to understand what strategies are they using, what techniques are they exploring, because it's in these gems that you can apply it to your business and actually scale things up. When you're ready and you feel like you actually want to learn practical, proven methodologies, or even you want to hire a team that can build you a profitable personal brand, book in a chat with our team because we can guarantee you go viral and guarantee you get clients for your business.
What is up, guys, and welcome to the How Did They Grow podcast. Today we have on Todd Snively. Tell me I got that right.
No, Snively.
Snively, my bad. Todd Snively. Todd, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a young 62-year-old entrepreneur, been in business since 1983, hit the digital market around 2002, and I'm having so much fun, I wouldn't even think of retiring. So, serial entrepreneur, I have 6 different online businesses right now, but I've had actually 17 exits since 1983. A lot of different kinds of businesses, a lot of lessons learned, hit some roadblocks and big potholes along the way. But the last 20 years, things have been going pretty good.
Amazing. Let me kind of ask you this. Obviously, we appreciate what you're doing in the industry, but like, what made you hop on this podcast? What did you see? What made you hop on this one?
Well, I heard your audience tended to be people that were starting online businesses, kind of getting started in their entrepreneurial journey. So any advice or information or even specific questions that I could answer to that kind of an audience, that's kind of, where I live. Those are the people that I want to help because I've been there. I know how tough it can be. And you start questioning what you're doing. And, sometimes, it's their attitude. Sometimes it's just technical knowledge. Sometimes it's business knowledge. But, like I said, 41 years, I've learned a thing or two. So just trying to just pass it along.
Amazing. Let's kind of wind the clock back and tell us how you started this. I'm assuming it says you started in 1983. So I'm assuming at that time, online businesses were kind of like, what can I compare it to these days? Something that you speak about it, people laugh at you. You know what I mean? So how did you kind of get that drive? I'm assuming you were able to see that this is the future. So how were you able to?
What's really interesting about that is back then there was no online. There was no internet, right? There was not an online business in 1983. But a lot of the things that we did in business back then now directly correlate to the way it's done now online. I'll give you just one example, then I'll answer your specific question.
Sure.
People ask me about webinars. Now we have webinars, right? They're like, well, what did you do back then, before webinars? Well, we did presenting from the stage. And we would videotape it. I use the word videotape, and then I'm really dating myself, because people might have to Google what a VHS videotape is. But we would videotape them and then distribute those through classified ads in publications like USA Today and Wall Street Journal, and then close like a couple of weeks later. So like now the typical person that has an online course, they run a Facebook ad, they have a funnel and a website, and they do maybe a VSL or a webinar, and they're closing. Back then, it took a little bit longer.
It took a little bit longer.
But it all transfers over. Back then we had direct mail. Now we have email. Back then, we were writing out the envelopes and putting stamps on it. So sales and marketing hasn't really changed. The only thing that's changed are the delivery mechanisms, like email, like webinars, like landing pages, like CRMs and whatnot. But I kind of got my start a funny way. I came out of the Air Force, right? So I'm a veteran of the United States Air Force, served my time. I came out and didn't have a clue about what I wanted to do. And so, one day, one evening anyway, my girlfriend and I were kind of messing around at night in a park, if you know what I mean. And a security guard kind of came across us and he says, "You can't be doing that here in the park." Anyway, he happened to do what was called he was a process server. He had a process service business, which is just delivering legal documents to defendants and banks and things like that. And he needed help. So I started working with him and ended up forming my first company, which was a legal services company working with attorneys. And that developed into the next company and the next company. But I will say I did take a break. After that first company grew to the point where I was able to sell it and make some money, I decided to invest that money into becoming a commercial pilot. So I finished all this flight training, and I ended up flying under contract for the post office and UPS for a year because I thought that was going to be my dream job, and it wasn't. They ended up taking something I love and absolutely just turned it into a job. So what I decided to want to do was to learn how to get back into my own business again and learn how to make money on my own. And I've just enjoyed, doing that now since.
Around what year was this?
Well, I became a commercial pilot in 1985 and stopped in 1988. So I did it for 3 years.
Amazing.
So
that's when you decided.
I flew. Yeah, I've had 6 different airplanes of my own, and I was flying myself around for a long time. But not too long ago, I decided I enjoyed sitting in the back and having a cocktail rather than actually piloting the airplane. So.
Definitely, Todd, you've done some amazing stuff. So why did you kind of lean into that online marketing, which is tying back to that question? Is there something you saw that was like, man, this is going to be the future? What was that?
Well, it was a much more efficient way of marketing, right? It was actually, it was really an evolution. Plus, I like to say I'm like the laziest guy you'll ever meet. And but what I mean by that is I like to figure out the easiest way to accomplish a goal. If we can figure out how to make $1 of profit a day, then it becomes about systems that can create that 10,000 times a day. So I love solving those money problems, and the online environment and the technology is what allows us to do that as entrepreneurs. And that's what I enjoy.
Amazing. So you're kind of the numbers guy. You love cracking up those KPIs.
Yeah, a lot of it is numbers, but again, the systems also, implementing the proper process and being able to not only be able to replicate it, but to be able to scale it without scaling your employees, for example. I've had companies with 300 employees that I wish I could have scaled with technology we have now. I could have run it with 10 employees, right? So you want to be able to keep your expenses low, but still be able to scale to meet revenue goals. And being online is what allows that to happen.
Amazing. Definitely. Let's kind of break into the sauce now in terms of that business marketing and sales stuff. Let me just ask you this, throw it out there. What makes an online business win? An online coaching business, let me put it that way. What makes an online coach or an online expert? What is that thing that's going to get them to print that cash that they're looking for and help a bunch of people?
Well, what they're really doing, whether they realize it or not, no matter what their niche is they're developing a personal brand. And when you're developing a personal brand, the main thing that you can do is to develop the know, like, trust aspect of being in business. People are going to instantly do business with people they know, like, and trust. So if you're trying to build a brand and you just keep trying to shove features down somebody's throat, they're not listening because they don't know you, like you, or trust you. You're much better off, establishing first, get people to know you, right? Which is done through mostly content creation. I would speak at events. I would do podcasts. It allows people to get to know you. So as a beginning person who just started developing their online program, in order to find that audience, you need to get out there and get people to know you. Talk about how you solve these problems. You have to be a giver too. Give 100%. I mean, even though you might have secret sauce in your online training program, give it away. I mean, just talk about it. help people. And when you do that, when they want to work with you, they'll seek you out rather than you trying to find them.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny is I literally, on my own like little personal branding page, I literally just made a video saying the exact same thing. That sauce, that secret sauce that you're trying to gatekeep, my favorite guru is giving it away for free on their YouTube channel. And when I need implementation, they're the one I'm going to go to.
You couldn't have said it better. The people that are doing the best, matter of fact, YouTube is an amazing channel. The people that are really getting it done are creating these YouTube channels and showing people how to do it. Because only a certain percentage of the people viewing that content will want to do it themselves. And it's not a big percentage.
Definitely.
Everybody else is going to say, this guy knows what he's talking about. I'm just going to hire him. And those are the people that will have the budget to be able to pay the prices that you should be asking if you have that kind of expertise, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So like, it's an amazing thing. It's like in life, in general, the more you give, the more you get. If you're trying to be this guy who's gatekeeping, it's not going to work. And it's all ties back to human psychology. And I'm sure that's one thing you're really dialed in on.
Yeah. I mean, again, there's this thing called reading the room. And when we used to pitch from the stage, which I still do every now and then, but we did it all the time back in the 80s and the 90s,
Yeah.
You got to read the room. You have to understand who's your audience and where they're at and where they're trying to go. Because if you're not speaking to that, they might be listening, but not really, right? You're not accomplishing the goal of know, like, trust, which then leads to a business relationship. And so it's just a waste of time. Know your audience, figure out what their pain points are, figure out what they're trying to accomplish, and learn to talk in their voice, right? And this is so easy with AI now. We have AI programs where we can train them on our business, right? We call that a brand playbook. Then we train the AI on what our products are. And it could be a bunch of different online courses that we've written or products or services we offer. We create these product playbooks. The AI then analyzes your business, analyzes your products, and comes up with a bunch of avatars, your people, the people you're trying to reach. And it explains in detail each of these avatars. Then it creates content for that avatar, for that product, for your company that speaks to them. So that when somebody sees this content, whether it's on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram, they're saying, whoa, he's talking to me. Whether they actually say that or not, that's the experience. And that's what you're going for. And that's where people miss it. They think they know their audience, but they don't, right? They think they're talking to their audience, but they're not. They're just saying what they think somebody might want to hear about their business, product, services, or whatever. And nobody cares about that. They care about themselves. And so you have to learn to talk in the customer's voice.
Yeah, it all comes down to the, I don't know who popularized it. Maybe you would know, the what's in it for me factor. You know what I mean? In terms of creating that content.
Not only that, well, I'll tell you, a lot of customers, they may or may not think like that, but at least they have a problem. And they want you to solve the problem, right? And so if you can understand the problem that, let's say, I don't know, a local plumber business has, right? If you can understand his problems and talk to him about his problems and what it is that keeps him awake at night staring at the ceiling, when you understand that and his problems and you have a solution and you know how to bridge that gap, it's not even sales anymore. It's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer solution. Yeah.
Amazing. And I think that's what it is at the end of the day. It's finding that no-brainer solution, finding that thing that when someone says it to you, it's like, how much? Because I'm already bought. You know what I mean? It's finding.
Yeah, take my money, please. Yeah, I think the biggest problem or the biggest mistake, I'll say, that content creators and coaches make is they fall in love with their own idea. They become emotionally attached, and then they find out that their audience is going to be, I don't know, albino women with one leg. Well, there's not that that's not a very big audience, you know? So
Yeah.
so they kind of have to be open to developing a product that has a lot of mass appeals to a lot of people, that they can sell, that has huge perceived value. The people are saying, wow, I'm getting a lot more than what you're charging me, is somewhat unique. Don't be doing what everybody else is doing, and exclusive to you, that if they want the solution you're offering, right, with your product, they got to come to you. They can't go to 100 different people and get it. If you can score high in each one of those 4 buckets, then you're already ahead of 95% of the, say, the course creators out there and the coaches.
Yeah, definitely. Kind of, what are those 2 buckets? And kind of, I know you touched upon them, but kind of make it, just say it out loud again for the audience. What are those 2 buckets that they need to dial down?
Really 4 buckets. Mass appeal, right? Make sure that what you're selling, like for example, if you're selling a product that would appeal to people who have skin, well, okay, you got pretty high mass appeal, right? If you make it down to people that have hair, now you've cut your market down. There's a lot of people out there don't have hair. So the mass appeal is really important. If it's dialed down so far, you're going to have trouble finding your audience. The next is perceived value, right? Is what you're offering your solution for, is it priced to what we call a no-brainer, or I've heard them called Godfather offers. They're basically, you're stupid to turn them down because there's so much value there, right? So you got to have that Godfather offer. Then you have the originality. You know, are you actually now offering training or consulting or coaching that's somewhat unique and original, that's solving a problem that a lot of people have and are willing to pay for, but there's not a lot of market out there for it because it's so original, right? Then the last one is the exclusivity. Do they have to come to you? Have you convinced them that what you have is the solution to the problem they have, and you're the one, you know, that they're going to come and get it from? Otherwise, you get this, well, let me talk to 10 other competitors and then I'll make a decision. That never happens if you have the uniqueness and the exclusivity. Then you can suffer a little bit on mass appeal and maybe even perceived value if you're high with originality and exclusivity.
I hope you're enjoying this podcast. I hope you're taking notes. I hope you're learning so much practical wisdom, because that's what I really wanted from this podcast. Now, I just want to quickly say, if you're looking for a team that can actually help you explode and go viral with your personal brand with proven methodologies, I say this because I've been doing this for the past 5 years. We've got a team of 30 people who are ready to go ahead and explode your brand so you can get clients begging to work with you. Have a chat with one of our advisors. You can book in a chat using one of the links around this video, because that chat might just change your life.
Yeah. So that unique mechanism is something that even if it's kind of fugazi, and when I say fugazi, I don't mean like kind of scammy. I mean like fugazi in the terms of you just give it a big fancy name. It's like my unique organic protocol or something like that, you know. Does that also play a role?
Yeah, matter of fact, you know, a lot of people now are developing their own proprietary method. Right. For example, so you can get around the exclusivity and originality if you have a proprietary method. Like, the reason you should work with us is because of our RISE method, you know, RISE. You know, we're going to research.
Okay, that kind of thing.
All about, you see what I'm saying? Now, if they want the RISE method, there's nowhere else to go but you.
Exactly. It's like you give it that name, that thing, you find that thing. Make it, I mean, when I'm saying make it sound, it's not, you got to make sure you actually have value. Then you kind of give it this, they call it unique mechanism, which is exactly what you're saying, the proprietary value thing. Whether it's, you call it RISE, whether you call it, this is my brand new system and this and that, they're only going to get that with you.
Yeah, ask ChatGPT.
They're only going to get that with you.
Go into ChatGPT and say, this is my coaching business. This is my online program. I need to come up with a proprietary method. Suggest some names with 4 letters that spell a cool word, and then tell me what each letter means. That's as easy as it is, and people don't do it. But once you do that, you're selling the RISE method, right? You're not selling a coaching program on how to have a better relationships. You're selling the Rise method that will allow you to have a better relationship. If you want, they want
And
the
there's
Rise
no
method.
other place to get that Rise method.
You have 100% exclusivity to the Rise method. Yeah.
Definitely. I think that's amazing. Let's kind of get into funnels. We hear a lot of online coaches say it. In your opinion, does the funnel matter? I mean, having a funnel, it definitely matters, but does the funnel itself, the type of the funnel, where it leads, does that actually matter?
Oh my gosh, so much. It's not even funny. Matter of fact, funnels have kind of killed websites. They've replaced websites. And I get this a lot that people say, what's the difference between a website and a funnel? And just in real quick, the funnel doesn't have all the click off points. You go onto a website, there'll be our products, our services, our pricing, learn about us, contact, and yada, yada. Those are click off points. A funnel is just, you're here for this one reason, fill out this form to get that, and book a call. It just leads them on a customer journey that you want them to take, right? And they're not going to be able to click off and do 9 other things like they do on a website. So because you're creating that customer journey, that's what makes it so important. You know, the funnel is just a tool. The customer journey is the important part. And you accomplish that by using a funnel to get them to do what it is you want them to do so that they can get the result they want to get ultimately.
Amazing. So would you say, like, because obviously I speak to a lot of people here, you have a lot of perspectives. Some people say, oh, websites. Some people say, oh, with websites, the people can get everything. They're not clicking on random different pages, right? I kind of think, like you said, websites are kind of right now on the decline. Not to say they're not useful, but you got a good funnel, you don't really need that website. You just need a landing page and all. I mean, as a landing page, it counts as a website, but it's not what we're talking about, is it?
I mean, a lot of people use funnels like web pages. And to be clear, I do think everybody needs a website, but funnels are what's going to bring them their sales, right? So funnels are going to have URLs that don't really matter because you're driving traffic. People are just clicking and ending up on your funnel. A website needs to have a root URL related to your personal brand. Okay, so you should have a nice website. The problem is, or the reason the websites don't really matter anymore is because they used to matter because of SEO, search engine optimization. All of that has changed. So Google, with the advent of AI and the way they're serving up search results now, have killed SEO. So you're not going to get clients to your website the old way by doing search engine optimization and coming up high in organic rankings with Google. That's pretty much gone. So what you need to do is to have a funnel that you're driving traffic to, either through organic means, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. You're driving organic or using paid ads on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. But it all goes to the funnel because the purpose of the content, the purpose of the ad, if you're doing paid ads, is to get them to take action. Hey, here's 7 ways to have a better relationship. Hey, here's 13 things you need to know about making money online today. Hey, here's the top 4 high-ticket affiliate programs, free reports, lead magnets, ethical bait, to get them to your funnel so that they'll trade their contact information for that thing of value or perceived value, so that you can then begin nurturing, getting them to know you, like you, trust you, and present offers at that time. And this is also comes down to, and I know I'm jumping around a bit, but the core thing to any of these online businesses should be the development, building, and monetization of that email list. That should ultimately be the end result. If you're starting an online business, coaching, selling courses or whatever, and you don't have in your mind that you need to build an email list and be constantly monetizing it with offers, you're missing the boat completely. You know, the email list is still the thing that's going to drive the income and revenue of your business for years after you've sold a course, right?
So you're saying email lists aren't dead.
Oh
Email
gosh,
lists aren't
no.
dead.
And they'll never be dead. You know, Instagram sold for I don't know how many billions of dollars because they had an email list that was huge. You know, the email list is something nobody can ever take away from you. Right? You could lose maybe a sending account like Mailchimp gets upset and cancels your mail sending. You just go somewhere else. You take your list with you. And now lists are now things are so advanced with CRMs that we don't even have separate lists anymore. We have a contacted database that we segment with tags. And so now we can really control who in our database gets what messages. Yeah.
Amazing. So I want to kind of break this down, but I don't want it to go too broad, right? Obviously, with funnels, I'm not sure whether you would agree, but like it has to be tailored to what you're selling and who you're selling to. It's not one size fits all with funnels, right?
Absolutely not. You're 100% correct.
Okay, so but I'm assuming there is a template that you can model your funnel off, the perfect funnel that you can not perfect, so kind of break that down so they can kind of get that.
Oh yeah, a lot of people, they just try slapping something together, right? And that's the wrong way to go about it. This stuff has been proven over and over and over. You know, this is where the picture should be. This is what the picture should have. You know, this is where your headline should be. This is the size it should be. This is where your form should be. And actually, the more simple of a landing page, the better off you are. There's less distractions, only one thing to do. So those templates are out there. What we end up doing once we implement a template is A/B testing, right? Okay, so now we're going to have this one running against this one, where the only thing different is the headline. And we're going to send half the traffic to this version and half the traffic to this version. We're going to declare a winner, and then we're going to do it all over again. But now maybe we're going to change the color of the button and see which one wins. So you're always optimizing, but you should start with a proven format. Don't try to reinvent the format. You know, that's silly. So a lot of people like to just they get a page builder and they just start building it, and it is terrible for conversions. And then they don't know what to do. Well, just start with something that's proven, you know, and go from there.
Definitely. Let me ask you this. What is your take on free community to paid community type of thing? You know, kind of what school has going on. Does that affect the kind of, because it's less direct with that in terms of there's a lot of nurturing in that process. Whereas if you're building a type of email list, I mean, with the school, you still get the email, but I'm saying if you build that email list, you know you're doing this drip sequence. You know what's going to come out at the end of that. You know what I mean? And you know what's going to keep coming at the back end of that. So what would you say is like the nuance between the two if someone's kind of deciding?
So communities are, what you want to have happen in a community is twofold. One, you want engagement between people in the community, whether you're providing it or not. If you have a free community, generally you're not the one providing the engagement. You're just letting everybody into this community in the hopes that you get some people that have, you know, nothing to do all day long but engage in the community, and the engagement takes care of itself. The reason you have that free community is because you're offering the lead magnets or the courses that are paid or free for that trust process. That's the purpose of a free community. Now, the paid communities should be generally a bonus from your main offer. So you have the free community, everybody and their brothers in there, and you have an education section where you have courses. So the first course might be free. That's a lead magnet. That's all that is. A free course is just a lead magnet. At the end of it, they're like, if you'd like to continue to the advanced course, that's only $97. Here's the button. You get instant access, and boom, they go unlock the paid course. Now in the paid course, they go through that, and like now, if you want to be in, the graduate level course, click the button, and part of the graduate level course comes with our paid community, right? So it's not that you're charging people to come into the paid community. You're selling a course where one of the bonuses is an exclusive community of people who have paid for the course. That's what I think, right? Now, school is good. Sam Ovens developed that. Somebody I respect a lot. He sold it and moved on. No, I'm sorry. He developed school and then sold his consulting business. You know, Sam Ovens owned consulting.com. It was making millions and millions of dollars. He developed a school community and fell in love with that and sold his consulting business. But Go High Level, you know, came out with their own communities that now are probably, you know, included. They're free in a high level subscription, and they're probably 95% of the way that the school is. So if you don't want to pay, you know, like $97 a month for each paid school community, you can get unlimited communities if you go into high level, and you'll get 95% of the functionality. So I think communities are important for the learn, you know, know, like, trust, you know, journey. But you have to have the engagement, because if people join the free community and there's no engagement, then I mean, it's not going to serve its purpose.
Definitely. Kind of segue into high level, man. I think high level is taking a lot of food off of a lot of people's tables, a lot of software companies' tables.
Oh yeah, they're an all-in-one solution. When I first heard about them years ago, I took a look and said, it's still, I don't think it's quite ready, you know, for what I want it to be. So I ended up having 12 other pieces of software that I'm paying $1,600 a month for all these subscriptions, and stuff was constantly breaking. Finally, I got frustrated one day and said, let me go look at that high level thing again, because I'm starting to hear people just raving about it. And now I looked at it and it had grown up, it had matured, and it was solid. And I didn't hesitate. I canceled every one of my subscriptions and went all in on high level. And it is now the single best software platform I have ever used for any reason. It's just amazing. And it only gets better every day. Every day another bell or whistle comes out.
Every day another feature comes out.
I think last week
it does everything.
200 feature releases. It was insane. Now, not everyone's applicable to what you're doing, but the fact of the matter is they have 300 or 400 programmers on their team that are all compartmentalized, working on different parts of the software to keep it, this state of the art piece of software that they want to do everything, whether it's communities or sending emails or building funnels or websites or AI, CRM. Oh yeah, love their CRM. And you're not paying, HubSpot can be a couple $1,000 a month. People, they're not there yet. High levels, like 90% of the way of HubSpot, and you're paying a fraction of the cost. It's genius. It's genius what they're doing.
It's amazing. It really is amazing. I think it's the number one software you should go for if you're starting an online business where if you're gonna get leads. You have a lead magnet. I think before you buy MailChimp, before you buy anything, just get high level. There's a free trial. It's 90 something bucks for a month on the starter plan. And it only gets better from there, Yeah,
and you won't need anything else. People don't realize, like I was paying for DocuSign, and people are paying for PandaDoc. That's in high level, right? People were paying for Twilio and sending SMS messages. That's in high level. People were paying for ClickFunnels and lead pages. That's in high level. That's even Calendly. I got rid of my Calendly subscription because it's in high level, not paying extra. And let me tell you, every dollar that you can save is 100% profit in your pocket. So why would you want to be paying more than you need to for these solutions? And incurring, that's, I'm going to get on my rant box a lot, but having all these bloated expenses is a number one killer of young businesses. They just keep incurring debt and building expenses, and they haven't made $1 yet. And they got to stop doing that,
Definitely. I think we've kind of been through a lot, kind of given a lot of value to the people listening. I want to ask one question that's going to really benefit everybody listening, but I'll let you ask the question to yourself. What is that question that you think this answer that if every coach is listening right now who is starting an online business, what should they focus on? And Obviously, I mean, the obvious answer is focus on your delivery in terms of what you're doing, your actual product. Focus on that. But in terms of the marketing aspect, what is one thing they need to hear?
I think people spend too much time developing their product prior to moving into the sales phase. I think it needs to work the other way around. You know, go out there and try to find the people, or find out even if they even want your product. And once you've done that, right, which is very easy to do, right? Once you've done that, then you build the product. I can't tell you the number of webinars I've run selling a program in a beta phase. So everybody's paying $1,000 to get into the beta phase, understanding that it's all going to be delivered through live coaching on a week-by-week basis. Once all the live coaching is done, that's when we make the product, okay? But this allows us to find out what our customers want. So you have the general concept, the general problem you're trying to solve, and you have your big promise. Don't spend any time developing course materials until you've found an audience that's willing to invest in the solution you're offering. So I think that's the biggest advice I can tell you, is do it backwards, or do it the right way is really what it is, because everybody's doing it backwards now. They spend, I can't tell you, I go into these groups, excuse me, and these people have spent months and months and months. They're still developing their online training program. And what color do you think should go on, you know, on this category page? And I'm like, well, how many customers do you have? Oh, I don't have any yet. I'm still building my course. It's like, no, don't do that. Go out and find the market. Make sure you can find the people that want your stuff. And then you build it with them. And now you're going to be giving them something that they want and they're going to use. And now then you can go out, polish it up, and go out and just put it on a auto webinar. You know, you can do evergreen presentations. You can do live webinars. You can do VSL. You can do anything you want at that point. But until then, get the market first. Find your customer, your perfect customer, and find out what they want, and build it later through beta.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of brought us full circle here, because at the end of the day, how are you going to find that market in 2025? You have to create content. You have to create content. You have to create awareness around that solution that you're trying to solve, to find the person who needs that solution. And then you just do it the right way, as you said. Make sure who looks for them.
To your point, once you've created the content, right, now you're able lead magnets are easy. Now you're giving the lead magnets away and you're developing your list. Now you can email that list and say, hey, I'm going to be doing a webinar that solves this problem with this big promise, you know, and see how many people show up. And of the people that show up, see how many you can get into your beta program. And a lot of times it's only going to take one or two people out of, say, 20 that show up on a webinar buy into your beta. You're go ahead and produce the program, right? Because then you'll be able to do more content that now drives them to the funnel that nurtures and sells the program. But content's always key. Content. Even if you're doing paid ads, you still need content, right?
Exactly. You know? Exactly. It's the number one thing. You know, back then I assume it was door knocking or newspaper and everything. The people still did that. They still pushed that because they knew getting in front of people, getting people aware of your solution and how you can help them is the most important thing. Then you just got to reverse engineer it, right?
You know, even if like I said, when I call it pitching from the stage, but you know, even when we were doing that, we were running big display ads in the local newspapers for 7 to 10 days before we even arrived in town. Then when we arrived in town, we spent 3, 4, 5 days presenting, you know, presentations, telling everybody that on Sunday is the special presentation, you know, and even though we pitched every night, you know, the first night, almost no sales. The next night, you would see people coming that were there the other night. You get a few more sales. It builds up until Sunday. Everybody buys because you're leaving town. You know, we don't have to do a cart close. We're physically leaving town. And we only have so many programs with us that we're, you know, so yeah, but you got to do the content. And in that case, back then, the content was the ad. And then the content was your presentation every night for them to get to know, like, and trust you, so that by Sunday, you get 95% of your sales.
Amazing, amazing. And as you said in the beginning, the game hasn't changed, only the vehicles.
Correct. Yeah.
Amazing. Let me kind of end on this and ask you, What is one thing you wish I asked you on this podcast? Maybe one thing yeah.
I think more about the importance of AI nowadays. When ChatGPT first came out, it blew my mind, and I've been following it since then. Now, what I do is 90% AI related to solve any issue within my business. And I think entrepreneurs need to put however they feel about AI behind them and understand this is here to stay. And if they don't get on board with it, their competitors will, and they're going to get left behind. So it would have been about the importance of AI for course creators and marketers and just businesses in general.
Well, I really enjoyed this one, and we can definitely, most definitely do this again and talk about AI in particularly. Just to kind of end, where can the people go to find out and learn more about what you do and kind of break down what you do as well?
Yeah, our main website's the best place to go. It's entrepreneurdreamsystem.com. And they'll get a taste of a little bit of everything we're doing. And they'll even get to play with some AI. We have an AI widget on that site. They just hit the button. They can start talking to our AI employee. They can even ask them to explain quantum physics like they were a five-year-old, and it'll do that, So that just gives them the idea of what's available. So entrepreneurdreamsystem.com is the best place to get in touch with us.
Amazing. Any social media?
Most people come to my wall. If they go to Facebook, just search my name, Todd Snively. And I use my personal wall as my business. And so people just friend me there, and they can message me there, and then they can see things that I'm doing. I travel a lot. I have a lot of fun. I got homes around the world. So I always tend to post, the lifestyle, because a lot of people get into this, especially online, because of the lifestyle. So I show my lifestyle, but I also show things that I'm working on. So they get a little bit of both.
Amazing. I think this has been amazing. Hopefully we can have you on some other time and talk about AI.
Yeah, Mike, that'd be a lot of fun.
I really hope you enjoyed this podcast. I want you to go away and execute everything there is that you've learned. Now, one thing I will say is if you're in a position where you're ready to actually take things to another level, you want structured, clear guidance, you want a team that can actually help accelerate you, book in a chat with our advisors. Why? We can blow up your personal brand to attract clients begging to work with you. All you got to do is book in a chat with our advisors, and we can help make it happen. Sound fair enough?